You're now listening to the Pitchside Peregrines podcast, your home for all things Athletic Club Boise.
All right, everybody. Before we get into today's episode, quick shout out to KJO Insurance, the first sponsor of the Pitchside Peregrines podcast. Look, insurance premiums suck, but your coverage doesn't have to. They know Idaho and the Pacific Northwest, and they'll actually find you a deal that makes sense. DM them on Instagram at KJO Insurance with Pitchside, or call 208-883-4800 and tell them Kyle and Elias sent you. All right, let's talk some AC Boise. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pitchside Peregrines podcast. I'm here with special guest, returning co-host Elias after his non-baby moon at all. Like he missed an episode.
I got a week. I mean,
Yeah.
wife went into spontaneous labor on Saturday the 18th, and we had a baby by the end of the day. So,
and a week later, here he is.
A week later.
So this is fun. This is fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is his witching hour. He's up again from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., and there's not much you can do to change his mind. So
fair enough.
Thought Kyle and I's schedules would line up, and here we are. I can chat on little sleep. So I probably won't be here the whole episode, but at least give my thoughts on the one or two games that have AC Boise has played, and I was able to watch fully.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna go over. We do these in chunks now, just because it makes it easier because our schedules are kind of hard to sync up. And you guys have made it known that you prefer when both of us are on screen. So we're gonna try and do that as much as possible. So we have had 3 games in the last 2 weeks, and the 3 games that we have missed, we had 2 weeks ago. We had Sacramento in the USL Cup, which is a win. We had last week. We had Portland Hearts of Pine, which is also a win. That was last Friday, 2-1. And then tonight, just about an hour ago, we beat the New York Cosmos in New Jersey. How would you, because what is it? The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles? That's like the Cosmos. They're the New York Cosmos of Patterson, New Jersey.
We had our the pregame scouting our prey with Jerry from
Jerry Calla.
Yeah, he had
from Cosmos Country.
A lot of insight, a lot of history of the team. I know, Kyle, you probably were salivating over that. Dude,
I was nerding out so hard. I loved it. That was great. I literally could have. He should work for the team. Like, if the team has a museum, hire that guy, because I would listen to him. Like, the most east. Again, like, the dude is just straight out of like a TV show with like the accent and everything. He was great. So yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, definitely a fun one. But let's jump right into this. I guess Sacramento was the last game that I was able to attend prior to being on full baby watch. That was actually a fun game. My daughter was able to attend her first match with my wife. Awful game to take your kid to, their first game, especially a 14-month-old who can't walk, so you have to carry them everywhere. That was 103 out. Thankfully, St. Al's had a cool down tent that we took advantage of, as everyone was a little very hot. Let's not say a little hot. But crazy. I think that was going into the game, there was really no hope, unfortunately, for AC Boise to make it out of the group stage, given our loss against Spokane, which he say Spokane lose to Sacramento on game 1, 3-0, and then come out to win the group. Definitely congrats to them for doing that. But I think AC Boise did not put their tails between the legs and accept defeat. They wanted to show the rest of USL Championship, USL 1, that they can compete with the big dogs, as the Sacramento Republic did have something to play for if they even got a point.
We drug them down with us.
Yes. Yeah, Sacramento Republic, if they got a draw, a point, 1, 2, or 3 points in this game, they would have won the group. So they definitely had something to play for, and AC Boise ex-nayed that with a 2-0 victory. I guess Nick Moon started this game off early with a 7th-minute goal, and just showed, again, anytime this team scores first, they play with so much more confidence, I guess, so much more lethality, and can kind of play the way they want to play and guide this game in the direction that they want it to be, versus
Hmm.
when they have to play from behind, they maybe put themselves into more compromising situations and end up with a Madison result, end up with a Sarasota result, end up with Fort Wayne result where
Hmm.
things can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yep. And this was a game where, again, we came out of the gates really aggressive, really on the front foot. And this has been, part of the Blake Bottley's been injured. Nick Moon is playing on the left and inverting. And so this first goal was a perfect example of he is not your average wingback. Like this guy, he's not. He's a winger. He is essentially his skill set is very broad, and what he can bring is so impressive. And this first goal was a nice little interplay between him and Thomas. This is the best pass Thomas has hit all season. Nice little 1-2 with Nick. Nick, had, of course, inverted onto his strong foot, onto his right foot, hit it into infield towards Thomas. Thomas just hit a little through ball, and Nick chipped the keeper. This was the 6th or 7th minute. We definitely looked the better team. We definitely looked the better team. I think this is one where don't let the statistics trick you,
Yeah.
because obviously we played better in the first 20 minutes. And then the statistics will say that Sacramento kind of put their foot on the ball and maintained more possession and maintained more control. They may have had possession, but it felt like they didn't have control. Like they didn't do anything. They didn't.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know. Don't let your eyes fool you. Like, or don't not trust them, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is
Hmm.
because I watched the game with my own eyes. I saw how good we were. We played extremely well in that first half, and for all of their possession, Sacramento couldn't really do anything with it. Sacramento couldn't really do anything. So it was a good watch for sure. I don't think we had too many clear cut chances there in that first half per se that we could have done more with. Um, so it was definitely just a pretty comfortable first half performance. And that I think that's where you guys after the first half. So I think you guys left right at the first half or right
Yep.
around then with a lot of folks. I think it felt like the game kind of emptied out there because again it was 103.
Yeah. Very hot.
It was 103, so it was definitely a warm one, which is I feel for everybody on the west half of the stadium. I feel
Yeah.
for everyone in the south stand in the supporter section because there's no shade there. You guys are cooking. Luckily, it did get shaded enough for me to venture my way down there because I was sitting
Nice.
alone. I was sitting
Yeah.
alone in our section, so I did get to watch worst end to do it because we were attacking the north end, the north stand by that point, or the loge boxes when we did score a second goal. We
Yeah.
did score a second goal. Yeah.
Yeah. First half stats, Boise had one shot, one goal, one big chance created. I think
Yep.
this is, again, as Kyle mentioned, this is
Perfect. Perfect
looking at the
efficiency.
stats. This is a rare game where AC Boise did not win the possession battle, did not outpass their opponent, did not have a boatload of corner kicks. What possession was 65-35 Sacramento.
Hmm.
Shots were 14-7 Sacramento. Corner kicks 8-1 Sacramento. Passes almost 700 to 400 Sacramento. All maybe the just all the statistics are showing that Sacramento should have won this. XG was 1.7 Sac to 1.06 AC Boise, um, but shows maybe this evolving mentality for this team, and also what Kyle said of yes, they owned possession, but the possession was not in any area of danger. If you hold the ball at midfield for 30 minutes and pass the ball back and forth and just kind of do what AC Boise does at time and play out of the back and just pass between center backs and midfielders and just waste time, I'm happy with that. If we're losing the possession battle and we win two
Hmm.
games 2-0 that way, and then capitalize on our big chances and put them in the back of the net. As for the second half, AC Boise had three big chances, is what SofaScore is calling it. One of them was a goal, one of them was saved, and one of them was missed. So, again, shows that even if we're getting outworked, outpossessed, outpassed, we still have and create opportunities
Hmm.
to score. Maybe not on the counterattack as we would love, maybe a little bit of counterattack from this team, but still creating something against a team that is fighting for playoffs and maybe even top of the table in the championship for the Western Conference.
Absolutely. And this was a game where it was the perfect little bit of squad rotation. Omar came in, and this is the perfect game for Omar because this is a game where if you are on the back foot and you're not going to have more possession of the ball, Omar can stretch the field, he can stretch play, and he can essentially just hold the ball up and kind of wait, give the rest of the team time to get into the attacking third or into the attacking half. And that's exactly what he did for the second goal.
Yeah.
Toomey did intercept the ball very well on it and kind of kick started a counterattack. And lo and behold, Omar was able to stretch the play, maintain width, and then kind of hit a little cross, a little like cutback cross square ball for Toomey, who did a good job of kind of shouldering off a tackle to finish really well. And then even our next chance, one of those big chances, I think it was another example of Omar just kind of getting onto the end of a longer pass. One of our few, again, we don't hit many long passes, but Omar was able to get on the end of one stretch play again. Ends up getting the ball to Dennis on the edge of the box, and Dennis just hits it over. But again, overall, even speaking with some Sacramento fans, which there were, I figured there were going to be, and
Yep.
there were quite a few Sacramento fans, and I would like to apologize to a group of Sacramento fans. I Mark Owens is a follower of ours and a listener of ours, and I met him and his family after the game, and I think 9 out of the 10 of them, there's a bunch of them, are Sacramento fans from Sacramento, and I was recording for. There will be a blog coming out, or a vlog. I was recording for that. My camera was on and my mics were not. Like none of the audio was caught at all. So I would like to apologize to them because you guys were
No.
awesome. You guys, I talked to them for like 15 minutes
Oh
after
no.
the game. So thank you for listening. So Mark Owens and your family of Sacramento fans, who were also part of their like supporters group, you guys were awesome. You guys were
No.
super nice. The fact that you just randomly flagged me down as I was walking out of the game and were just like, "Hey, good game. You want to come talk?" And just like talk to me for 15 minutes. And then they're like, "Oh, you're a podcast guy." I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Oh boy.
But
Did
no,
you
it was
listen to the
awesome.
pregame? Because I hope you didn't.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's good.
They were super nice, but I would like to apologize.
Yeah.
But they talked about, even again, they felt like Sacramento had nothing in that game. Like they did not show enough. And apparently that's been their MO all season. It's a bit of a down year for Sacramento. They still have their moments of quality, but overall, I never would have guessed at all that Sacramento on paper looked that good. Um, because it definitely didn't feel that way in the stadium. So it was a good win by Boise, a good way to finish the group. I think we finished as the fourth or
Tied
fifth, yeah, fourth or
tied
fifth
second in the
best.
group,
Yeah,
but yeah, we were on the short list for the what's it called?
yeah,
The
for the
the
for
the
the
the wild card.
yeah the
If we
wild
would
card
have gotten a
spot.
point against or against Spokane, we would have won the group. So
Yeah.
that is really the only game we didn't pick up points was the game we needed to pick up a point. So I guess two things I did want to mention from this game. One, if it hasn't been mentioned by the team yet, I did see Luan Brito at the game with a gnarly club on his hand. So definitely seems like Luan has some kind of hand injury.
So we have two players with gnarly clubs.
Yes. Yeah. Also, I saw Jared Mazzola
Yeah.
and saw someone post as well that an ex Sacramento Republic player, Jared, caught up with some of the fans and he too had some kind of hand injury. So that hasn't been announced by the club. I saw them both with casts or some kind of bandage across their respective hand. So that is the reason that they are both not on the bench and not featured in AC Boise's games right now and
Hmm.
moving forward is due to the recovery from whatever their hand injury may be.
So two players out, but we also had a player return from injury in the Sacramento game, however, briefly at the time, and that was Blake. That was
Mhm.
Blake's return, which he slotted right back into the left wing back role that had been occupied by Nick Moon. But yeah, Blake came back in, which was awesome to see. I think he only played for a whopping 2 minutes. But again, he's been such an important part of our season. So to see him back was definitely a positive sign.
For sure. For sure. For sure. I think That was a great, unfortunate way to end the group stage and not qualifying for the knockout round, but such a, I guess, ending on the best possible note in beating, again, AC Boise is undefeated against USL Championship sides with a penalty victory against the Las Vegas Lights, with a comeback victory against the Monterey Bay. Uh, I don't forget their team name. Whatever.
Just Monterey Bay AC.
Yeah, and then shutting out on a clean sheet the Sacramento Republic, who was at the time first in the group. So, congrats to them for their performance. Too little, too late. Would have loved some points against Spokane, as they are also a bitter rival, but it is what it is. So, moving on to the next game that I think was the first. Write this down in the history books. The first ever Athletic Club Boise match where both Kyle and I were not at the game in person.
Hmm.
So, um,
Yep.
it was a hard one to miss because I was watching from home, and just was one of those games that was just frustrating, and it was frustrating until it wasn't. Um,
Yeah.
that it was just like, okay, it's the 75th minute and it's 0-0, but we're like owning this game.
Oh man, it was
This
terrible.
has, they're going to sneak a goal off of nothing, and then we're going to lose after owning every statistical category and missing high percentage chance
Oh,
after
holy
high percentage
smokes,
chance
man.
after high percentage chance.
Yeah, that first half, the first half wasn't much to write home about, if I remember correctly. But the second half, it felt like we really put them under the gun. We dominated that second half the entire time until I think that it felt like they attacked the ball or they attacked our box one time
And
that
that was
whole
their
second half.
one
And
goal.
it's just like I think either we had a comment or someone, it may have been one of the Portland folks that we had been messaging, but it's just like, man, they're gonna sneak out of this. Like
Yeah.
which Shadow Wolf, we talked to them, Shadow Wolf on their podcast, and it's just like if they can just ride out the wave, like let us punch ourselves out, which we didn't. Like we weren't that frenetic, we weren't all over the place, but then yeah, just yeah, that was a punch in the teeth. That
Yeah.
I was with the River Guard at that. Oh no, sorry, that was the game before. I apologize. Just at home, it just felt like just so deflated.
Yeah.
It just felt like it's just and someone let the air out of the tire. It's just like, oh, we've seen this before. Like
Hmm.
this is another good performance with a bad result. Like
Yeah.
it just felt
Felt
terrible.
like the, what was it, Knoxville at home
Mm-hmm.
game
Yep.
where it was that 1-0
Yep.
loss at home? Try and pull it up. 2-1 with that late goal in the 81st minute to just take the wind out of our sails,
Mm-hmm.
where we dominated that match. Yeah, 1.4 xg to 1 xg. So this game, xg wise, was speaks to the chances created. Again, as Kyle mentioned, Portland Hearts of Pine had one shot in the entire second half and one goal. In the 78th minute, it was a pass from the midfield, quickly became a high percentage chance, and quickly ended up in the back of the net like no one's business. Um, the XG for this game, take a guess, Kyle. Maybe you have seen it or haven't seen it, but what do you think it looked like?
Close to five for
Yep.
Boise.
Yep.
Close to five and less than one for Portland.
Yeah. 4.4 for Boise, zero point 0.5 for Portland. Boise had
Mm-hmm.
six big chances in the game. Portland had one, and that one was their goal. 19 shots for Boise, six for Portland. Um, just shows the pure dominance that Boise had. If I remember in post production, I will throw up the um, momentum chart here, and you can just see that it was one or two blips in the first half for Portland Hearts of Pine, and then it was an all-out assault from Boise the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Portland scored their goal, it wasn't even a blip on the momentum chart for
No.
them. It just was they scored and then nothing happened. But
Mm-hmm.
at the moment of that goal, it was like, oh, classic Boise game. We dominate, get tired, and then get counterattacked and lose. But Blake Bodley had other opinions and other thoughts of this game.
Yeah, Blake, definitely not someone who I would put on the list of people who I would think would score with a header.
Yeah,
But there he was, 83rd minute. I think that was another Jonathan Ricketts assist, I believe. Jonathan Ricketts assist to Blake Bodley. Yeah, Blake, I think he came off the bench in this one too, second half substitute. And yeah, just really, he just cut inside his guy. He just cut inside his man. Really good header. That goalkeeper was getting nowhere near it. So no, it was just a good, solid goal. It was a good, solid. Again, Boise showed resiliency. We don't have many comeback wins,
hmm,
let alone comeback losses or comeback draws. Excuse me. So it was really good to see. It was really good to see. Decent little build up, but yeah, it was just a good. It was a good goal, and then I think shortly after that, again, we just kept the foot on the gas. And I think in the 90th minute, the person who I did not expect to see on free kicks is Jake
Jake
Dingler.
Dengler.
And I
Yeah,
like I like his tactic of I'm just gonna hit the ball really, really hard and just hope to see what happens.
yeah.
Because I don't know, I might go on a bit of a rabbit hole. Did you ever play the NHL video games? Like the
Uh,
NHL, whatever?
yeah.
I remember in one of the older ones when I was in high school, so you were basically a toddler, I
I
think,
was a
when I was in high
fetus.
school. Yeah. You could just do a slap shot straight at the goalie, and if it hit in the mask, you just fall backwards, and then you could just score an open net. It felt like that's what Jake Dangler was trying to do. It's like, I'm going to hit this ball as straight and as hard as I possibly can, maybe hit the goalie in the face, and he's going to fall over. But it almost worked. It almost worked. I think that was the one where Jake Jengler, I might rewatch it because just to see, because it was madness. So yeah, Jake hits it about 100 miles an hour, hits the goalie in the chest. We somehow put it off of the back of the. Someone hits the crossbar. Someone hits the crossbar. It was just an absolute mess. And this started this now. This was Boise just completely bombarding their goalkeeper. Like, we had already had a good chance in this game, but now we really, it was around the 90th and it just felt like there's no way we can't score. And this was also the ghost goal.
Yeah,
People remember, I believe it was Thomas Among
it was.
who, yep, it was Thomas who scored what would just could be considered a goal. I'm rewatching it back. Excuse me, just because I have to see, because this was blown for a foul, a non-existent foul on somebody. But this would have been the 92nd minute of 9 minutes of added time. The
Yeah,
reason there was 9 minutes, injuries, it was madness. It was madness. So essentially, the ball comes back out to the edge of the box. It was Josh Yarrow hits a cross. The cross is headed by Thomas, spilled, so it's spilled. It just kind of bounces everywhere in the box, but there's no foul. And I think that was allegedly what the referee said happened. Is I think one of our followers had messaged someone, but he just kind of blew the play dead for what? For like, no one understands. Like, one defender fell, but there was no foul in the buildup. It was just a loose ball. It was a loose ball. Thomas poked it home. There was zero offsides. There was no foul. Just
yeah,
because people end up on the ground doesn't mean there's a foul. Two Boise players ended up on the ground. So he just decided, play's over. Something happened. I mean, I've watched that replay probably 20 times. I cannot tell you why that play was blown dead. Could not, couldn't
yeah.
for $50, I could not explain to you a reason why that was blown dead. So I mean,
Person
for me,
falls,
yeah.
foul
So
must be committed. If VAR
so
was
yeah.
in USL, it could have been cleaned up. I think the frustrating thing for me that maybe someone can explain in the comment section below is taking your shirt off at any point is an immediate yellow card.
Hmm.
And Thomas Mong, due to thinking that he scored a stoppage time winner, takes his shirt off, gets a yellow card. Goal gets called back. To me, his yellow card should also be rescinded
Yeah,
because his celebration was due, his card was due to his celebration.
like the play was blown dead.
Yes.
So yeah, it's kind of like, remember when Pickford basically attempted to murder Virgil van Dijk in like
Yes.
2020, and he ruptured his ACL or MCL or P one of the CLs, one of the CLs in
Yeah.
Virgil's knee,
One of the
one of the
important
CLs.
knee
But I mean, but what Pickford did was probably a red card. Red card, like it was a horror challenge. Missed the ball by a mile, but because he was blown offside, it was blown offside before Pickford just cleaned out Virgil van Dijk. They're like, oh no, sorry, it never happened. Sorry, it was like a red card challenge, but nope, no red card for Pickford. So it's kind of like, all right. So I guess if you apply similar logic, it's like, no, Thomas, you don't get a yellow card. Like
Yeah,
Imagine if he was already on a yellow because Thomas is on yellows a
exactly.
lot. Like the
Can we get
butterfly
a
effect. The butter.
retroactive? Yeah, this game wouldn't have ended the way it is.
No,
I guess a quick cleanup. I don't think we mentioned it. Blake Bodley actually came on at halftime. He did not start. He came on for
no.
Dennis. I don't remember if Dennis's was just tactical issues or rest or whatever it was.
I think
Um,
Dennis runs himself into the ground, and I think he had run his race. Just
yeah,
one of those moments where Dennis had run his race and had nothing else to give.
yeah. So, and then Thomas Among actually assisted Blake's goal, not Jonathan Ricketts. So Thomas Among
Oh, did
had,
so he
had
had okay.
quite the
He's just
game.
he's turning into an assist machine.
Yeah, he is. And so I guess picking up where Kyle left off in the 92nd after we had a massive tease, I was watching this live and I was so confused as to why it was 1-1 when I saw the ball go into the net, but it didn't. Um, come this I think once we saw that goal, that immense dopamine fire to be let down, the team said there is no way we cannot win this game now. We have tasted blood. We have seen a goal go in to win the game that got called back. We are doing everything possible to do this. And Thomas Among got the last laugh. It feels
hmm
like in the last play of the game, a free kick from
Blake.
far out,
Yeah.
almost the midway line. It feels like Blake Bodley took it.
Yeah, Blake Bodley hit it. I think Jacob Kroll got on the end of it. Just headed it back into the mixer. And
Toomey tapped it,
to
and
me, to me,
Thomas,
high booted it a really dangerous like if you're putting your foot up that high in the penalty box, like you're hoping a defender doesn't put his head down there because if he puts his head down there, then it's going to be a high boot and it's going to get blown off. Now imagine the eruption if the ref would have blown that dead for a high boot. Um, would have loved to
would
have had a VAR for the 92nd minute goal.
yeah,
That was not, and I would have not loved to have had a VAR
for
for
that
this
one.
goal
Yes.
because I can't tell. Obviously, the call in the field was not offside. I literally, anytime I pause, I'm like, he might be off. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Number one, Thomas might be off. Number two, Toomey, that might have gone in without Thomas just poaching it literally on the goal line. I think it might have gone in. Now, would it have given a Portland player enough time to maybe get there to clear it? I'm not sure. I doubt it. I think the closest defender ended up, not being able to get there. But Thomas might have also like stolen this goal. Now then, another butterfly effect. Imagine if he was blown offside and he never needed to touch the ball. Like imagine like if it's going goal bound and he doesn't touch it, it's a goal. And but
Mm.
then so just the amount of crazy little like diversions that could have happened. Like oh, if Thomas was on a yellow and then takes his shirt off and then he's on a red. What if Toomey gets the high boot and it's blown dead? What if Toomey just score? It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Deserved result. Again,
Yes.
I think it feels like a curse has been broken somewhere. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I think it was maybe
the Chicago goat is dead or something, whatever curse
yes.
the Chicago had. But it feels like something the vibe is different. Like
Yeah. I think it was redemption
yeah,
for Thomas and Toomey, who both had
rough games.
blaring misses to have that could have put this game away far earlier and not
hmm
required a comeback victory, but more could have been just a comfortable win.
Yeah.
So it was good to see them both get the assist and the
I
goal.
think Toomey's was I think he might have thought he was offside earlier in the game, but it's like, man, he got to at least put it on target,
Yeah,
and he just skied it, and it's just like,
yeah,
And I mean, you love Toomey. You don't get me wrong, I like Toomey too. Toomey's been a lot of fun. but also like I remember reading at the beginning of the season, it's like, what does Toomey do? Toomey gets into a lot of dangerous areas. Toomey plays a lot of dangerous balls. Toomey is also super frustrating because he does stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but again, he's so effective and he operates in this system so well.
Yeah.
So he's had a great season. He's had a great season. Redemption for both of them. And again, it's just like I messaged one of our followers on Instagram. I'm like, man, Thomas is rubbing off. Like he's rubbing off on me, man. Like he's growing on me. Like he's hilarious. He's just scoring. And again, it would have just it's more infamy. Like he's just adding to his book of just classic like just big moments for Boise. Thomas is becoming like this cult hero like type player for us. He's been fun.
Yeah, he's slowly climbing up. He has 2 goals on the season, and both have been game-winning
There's
goals.
no way he only has two.
That's what SofaScore says. It says
He
two
only has
goals.
two? Oh
Yeah,
my
and
God. It
that
feels like
comes
he's
against Monterey and
that's
against
hilarious.
Portland.
I think
So
it's just because he plays so much and
yeah,
it's just like he's gotta have more than that.
he has 3 assists, so
Anyways.
he's second in the
Okay,
team in
yeah.
assists. But I think
Weird.
the one weird thing that stood out to me in this game is Coach Nate Miller only had one sub the entire game.
That was
Uh,
weird.
Blake Bodley came on pretty much at halftime, but you normally see a Nick Moon come off around the 70th minute. You usually see
Hmm.
maybe a Jonathan Ricketts or Toomey come off around the 70th minute.
Yeah.
Decided to not sub.
Charlie, yeah, Charlie on for Dominic. We have so
Yeah,
many guys. We have so many guys who are like for like.
yeah.
And like,
Johansson on for Jonathan
mhm.
Ricketts, so on
Yep.
and so forth. So maybe I don't know if that was just a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. When maybe Bobby Murphy, I believe the Hearts of Pine coach, made 3 changes in the 90th minute. Maybe he's regretting subbing on these players to try and put out a fire and defend with all their beliefs and fall short in trying to change a team up in the stoppage time.
Hmm.
Just one thing that stood out to me is, yeah, Hearts of Pine had 6 subs the entire game, while Blake was the only sub for the entire match for AC Boise, and ended the game with a goal and a free kick that ping ponged around, a well placed free kick that
Hmm.
ended up with a last minute score.
Yeah, absolutely. But no,
Definitely sad to have missed that game in person, but really happy for our friends HT and Matt Henderson who were able to take our tickets
yeah,
and watch that game as
yep,
a
for sure.
early birthday present for Matt himself.
Yeah, no, it was I know we missed the Portland is definitely the social media darlings of the
Hmm.
USL League One, at least. So no, it was still a fun one to watch in the second half, at least.
For
I
sure.
told you I told you you're not missing anything in the first one.
Yeah, yeah. I think I jumped in the second half and said, "All right, let's strap it up and see what we're
Skip.
working with." And it was just
Yep.
like, "Oh, missed big chance for missed big chance." But
Yep.
thankfully, AC Boise picked up 3 points against a team that is below them in the standings. Again, it is maybe an easier next month for the team with some poor opponents upcoming. But we will see how the team finishes up as I'm going to hop off for the rest of this episode, and Kyle will take you all solo through the game that just happened today. But before that, we're going to have a quick ad break from our sponsor, KJO Insurance. Real talk. You're already paying for insurance. Question is, are you overpaying? KJO Insurance covers Idaho and the Pacific Northwest, and they'll shop around to get you the best coverage for less. As you can see on their website, they have plenty of options for coverage. So please DM at KJO Insurance on Instagram with keyword pitchside or call 208 833 4800 and tell them Elias and Kyle sent you. Now back to today's episode.
Okay, everybody, we are going to continue on with this match reaction video. We're going to talk about the New York Cosmos versus AC Boise game that happened earlier today. Again, Boise was playing the New York Cosmos out in New Jersey this evening, which Boise, it was nice having a nice 5 o'clock game, which Boise did end up winning 2-1. Kind of a disappointing result there to let the Cosmos get one back kind of at the end of the game. It was 90 plus 5, and New York Cosmos scored, I think, in the 94th minute, 30 seconds. There was basically 30 seconds left in the game when the Cosmos scored. But again, it's a really good result for Boise. One thing that I would like to kind of show you guys is the lineup. Again, Boise is riding a pretty good streak of results. We can take a look at that kind of going into this game. And Boise's in good form. Boise is definitely in good form. This is our fourth win in a row across all competitions, our third win in a row in the USL League One. So we're definitely on a good run of form, which is always good to see, and it's always good to see an away win for sure. So we can go ahead and look at the starting lineups. That's one thing that I did want to look at. Again, FOTMob and SofaScore is going to have some interesting starting lineups, but essentially this was a 3-4-3. No surprise with the backline of Yarrow, Dangler, and Kroll. At least not a surprise per se with what's occurred recently. I think we are approaching a bit of a selection conundrum for Nate Miller. That's for sure with how this team is setting up, because Dennis is not going to be on the bench all the time. I think Nate Miller may be saving some legs, because if we look at what games are coming up soon, we have a game on the 29th, so we have a midweek game. I'm just looking at my calendar just to make sure. So we have a game on the 29th, so that would be, excuse me, everybody, on Wednesday. So we have an away game on Wednesday. So that one is against Greenville Triumph, and that will be in Greenville. And then we have a home game against Corpus Christi on the weekend. So maybe there's some player rotation happening, given that we're facing the last place team. New York Cosmos are down there at the bottom. So maybe Nate Miller was wanting to rotate the squad a little bit, but seeing Nick and Blake play on the same side of the pitch, number one, number two, seeing them, if anything, if they were both going to play, I would have thought that maybe, given how good Nick has done as an inverted wingback, maybe seeing Blake start on the right and Nick play on the left. But when they both lined up on the same side of the pitch in that 4-3-3, that was really interesting to me. So Ricketts maintained his spot. So Josh Yarrow, yeah, he maintains his spot as right center back. Ricketts remains in the right wing back role. Dominic Gasso, it seems now Charlie's been healthy the last two games, and it has been. Yeah. So Charlie came up for Dom in the 80th. So it's been Dominic who's kind of made that his starting spot. Toomey is an automatic starter in this team. Thomas, when healthy, seems like he's an automatic starter, and he got another assist today. Technically, I think does he get an assist for the penalty? I don't think so, but they're giving him an assist, I think, for Jacob Kroll's header. So that is an interesting one there, but Dennis can't not start. Like he's been so important for this team, so he can't not start. So when Dennis comes into the starting lineup, who drops out? Does Toomey drop out? No. So who's going to be that odd man out in this team? And personally, Josh Yarrow has done nothing wrong, but he also hasn't pulled up any trees. So given how impactful Jonathan Ricketts has been, I personally, and also protect your own type thing. I get it. Josh Yarrow is here. He is an AC Boise player, but he is on loan. So my loyalty to him is limited, in my personal opinion. I'm gonna always favor the actual AC Boise player, and I get it. Josh Yarrow is an AC Boise player, but there's something in me that wants to support our guys, and Jonathan Ricketts has been that person the entire season. So I think Jonathan should step back into the right center back role when Dennis and Blake and those guys are all healthy and starting. And then that would see Blake then move back, and maybe that is when everyone inverts, and maybe that is where Blake plays on the right and Nick plays on the left, or they go back to how it was earlier in the season, which had good results for the most part, which was Blake on the right or Blake on the left and Nick Moon on the right. So it's definitely a bit of a Nate Miller has some problems on his hand, which is a good problem. Obviously, selection is a good problem to have, which means you have multiple guys on the bench who are performing, which is what you want from your bench, which is exactly what you want from your bench. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does things from there, and it'll also be interesting to see what Nate Miller does with Thomas Among. Thomas Among has played well these recent weeks, but Jesus Barea has come in. This is his first game. Jesus Barea out of Real Salt Lake on loan from Real Salt Lake, technically, even though it does seem like his contract ends at the end of the season. So he's just writing out his contract. As we understand it, he's had some injury issues at Real Salt Lake, but the talent is definitely there. So that'll be interesting to see for sure. Now, how the game played out itself, it was again we've had a little bit more reserved games. We've had some more games where again it's not as frenetic. It's not, I think Nate Miller away from home definitely has a much different strategy versus what he has in Boise, which is understandable. We're going to be a lot more defensive away from home than we are at home, and I think that shows. Given we did, excuse me, everybody, we did have more possession in this game. It was about 55-45. It comes in specifically at 53-47. But it did take us some time to break down their defense. Again, the first half, we didn't have any really clear-cut, obvious chances. But we did eventually knock down the door with the penalty in, I believe, the 53rd minute or so in the second half. Thomas kind of got past his guy. He got past the center back, and the center back, Thomas, kind of in kind of the wily veteran move. Thomas isn't, he's not a first or second year at a college striker. He's been around. He knows how to position his body to draw fouls, and that's exactly what he did. He got in a better position against the center back. He drew the foul in the box. You can argue that it was soft, but as a center back, you can't put your arms out the way he did and push into Thomas. Regarding how hard he pushed or not, Thomas knows to take that foul, and because it's not, it can't be a dive if there is a foul involved. And Blake finishes the penalty well. It was a really good shot down in the bottom left corner of the net. So you can't complain there, absolutely not. And then shortly thereafter, Blake is the one who provides a really dangerous back post cross from a set piece to lead up to the goal for Jacob Kroll. And I think this is an interesting one. I know in speaking with the guys from the Cosmos Country podcast, they have a really young, really inexperienced team over there in New York, and I think that kind of showed in this play. Where the ball just kind of pops up. It must have been Thomas who just headed it straight up into the air. The goalie had come to kind of try and claim it, but when it just popped right up in the air, he completely turned his back on the play, or whatever happened leading up to the ball coming into the box. Obviously, we win the header. It goes straight up in the air. The goalie had come out. He puts his arms up. The ball goes into the air, and he just kind of loses it. It seems like he didn't know where the ball went, so he just retreated back to his line, puts his arms up to try and get there in time, and Jacob Kroll was just there. And I think that's one where, if you had to criticize the Cosmos goalkeeper, it's like he could have come out and claimed that again. He could have made, he obviously has the advantage in the box in that he can use his hands, and it feels like he should have collected that secondary ball. And instead, New York lets the ball not bounce, but come back down into the danger area, and Jacob Kroll was there to meet it, and it was 2-0. So really, really good finish for Jacob Kroll, and that just being in the right place at the right time, not necessarily the quality of the finish itself. But again, it was just a good job by him to be there in the right position for sure. And I think that this is another just good away performance. It was not the most exciting in any way, shape, or form, which I will take. I will take boring away wins all day, every day. And so being able to kind of reverse our fortune a little bit, I think, has been really, really important. Again, we are in a really good run of form, where we have won 4 of our last 5 in all competitions, and so it's just really nice to see. And again, it's not the toughest competition. New York is at the bottom of the table for a reason. They're a really young team, so obviously on paper this is a game that you want to be winning, and we came in and got the job done. That's all you can really ask for. Disappointing to allow the goal there at the end and not get the clean sheet. I think that's going to be extremely frustrating because again it happened in the last 30 seconds of the game. Good tidy little play by New York, in all honesty, but everyone's going to be frustrated by that. It looked like Dangler may have come out and bit a little bit when the striker kind of dropped into the midfield slightly and left that room for the little 1-2 and the pass and move by the New York Cosmos in that moment. So definitely frustrating not getting the clean sheet. But I would like to go into some of the, again, thank you everyone for your comments. We really do appreciate it. So I'm going to read a few of those. So the first one, like before, happy to grind out results. Disappointing not to keep a clean sheet or to see Javi play. So yeah, Javi, obviously it's weird seeing a former AC Boise player play anywhere because this is our first season. But Javier Garcia is with the New York Cosmos, and apparently he has, for as short a time he did have the starting job with the New York Cosmos, he doesn't have it anymore. He was on the bench today for this really young goalkeeper that they have, and I think that goalkeeper's experience did show, for better or worse, in the result for the New York Cosmos. So it would have been nice to see Javier play absolutely. But again, I agree, grind out the result. We don't need to be. I get it. I get Nate Miller wanting to entertain because this is a sport and sports are supposed to be entertaining. However, at the end of the day, I think if you want to fill the Boise Stadium, you have to win. So let's get some results away from home and then bring the crowd when we're at home. So yeah, really good job just grinding out the result. Really wanted a clean sheet, but otherwise the right result. That was by ML Daniel, 1525. Yeah, absolutely. I think again the team's got to be super frustrated with allowing that goal at the end of the game. So, but overall, a good, calm, composed result. It was great seeing Blake start, getting back from his injury. We can kind of look at the lineups and see who came off the bench as well. If I could find, excuse me, there we go. My goodness, it's like I haven't used this app before. Another important aspect of what happened today was again the debut in the 65th minute of Jesus Pereira. Return of Charlie Adams getting his first minutes for a while. So yeah, the typical, I guess, suspects coming off the bench for us. Disappointed Keegan Euler didn't get a little bit of time out there. But again, really solid result. Leading into another away day, I would go ahead and assume that the team, man, I could see the team staying out there on the East Coast since we're going to be playing Greenville in midweek. So maybe this is a situation where the team is flying directly from New York down south to play Greenville before heading back to Boise for the game on the weekend. But again, really good result. Really nothing really to write home about this one. Just a good, solid result. A good solid performance. We will take these kinds of performances away from home all day. This puts us in a really good spot in the table. I think if we can go back and look, it is a live table, so it has us in 5th. Yeah, so we're down in 5th. But again, it's really tight. We're on 30 points. Fort Wayne in 9th is on 27. So all Fort Wayne has to do is win their game in hand against us. And they're going to be in a really good spot. Ford Madison is right behind us in 6th, but we've played 18. They've only played 15. So, again, I believe I looked before this game on points per game and where that ranks us compared to the other teams because again, the table's hard to judge because, you have teams ahead of us on 1 less games played. Ford Madison is 3 less, and they're 1 point behind us in the table. So I believe the latest points per game puts us at about 8th, and I think that is fair, but I think that gap is widening. for the teams below us, and that gap is shrinking for the teams above us in that table. And so I think with another couple good results, we're in good form, and we should see ourselves fall into that home playoff category of the table, and maybe we jump Spokane, and maybe we jump one Knoxville. But again, we just have to keep this momentum going. We've been in really good form, so it's been hard to complain the last couple of weeks. We're getting into a little bit of a busy time of the season. We can go ahead and look at the calendar. So again, we have Greenville midweek, and then we have Corpus Christi at home, Ford Madison at home. We have the international friendly, if people know about it, Athletic Club Boise. We can go ahead and look at the schedule. But we are playing a team from, excuse me, everybody, while we go ahead and look this up. We'll just go into the schedule. So, yeah, so in replacing the South Georgia Tormenta game, we are playing Sporting Club Football, so just Sporting FC, and I want to say they're from Peru, I believe. We can look this up for everybody. We're all learning together. Sporting. Just to see what pops up. There we go. Boise Dev. Costa Rica. Costa Rican team. There we go. We found out as quickly as we could there. So again, that's at least a good little change of pace, and we'll hopefully get some squad rotation, see some guys get some minutes in that game, maybe coming back from injury. Excuse me, everybody. So yeah, hopefully we can get some guys coming back from injury. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how that game plays out, and then we'll go back into one game a week after this next upcoming week. But again, we have Greenville on Wednesday. We will try and get a scouting our prey out hopefully on Monday or Tuesday. Give 24 hours for the episode to run before the game, and so that'll be an interesting road test against another team who is at the bottom of the table. Greenville's down there in 15th, and they are not in good form. So that's one. Again, on paper, we're going to hope to come out of there with all 3 points. All right, everyone. Thank you again for watching, listening, subscribing, and all of the above. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see everyone before the next game.
That's all for today's episode. If you enjoy the show, make sure to like, comment, share with a friend, and make sure you're following the show wherever you listen. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for all updates and future content to come. If you want to help support the pod and get access to exclusive content, early episodes, and bonus perks, head over and check out our Patreon. It truly helps us keep this thing growing. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for being part of the community, and we'll catch you in the next one.